Okay, hello everyone, this is Fimscripted. Today's episode, Dragonshy, with a little bit of a fantasy twist and the more Lord of the Rings variety. But first, let's me introduce everyone again, starting with Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex Hurd, also a herd of bronies, one of the brony analysts.
Next up, Cadet.
Hello everyone, my name is Cadet. I'm a voice actor, current singer-songwriter, background artist, and up-and-coming animator.
Then up is Jennifer.
Hello, I'm Jennifer, amateur VA and artist.
And that paper mache rabbit is a familiar person, John.
Hello, I'm John. John Willow. I come from Scotland and I'm a voice actor / character actor, video maker and comic dubber of YouTube comics and stuff. So yeah, that's all I do.
I am the Ninja DC Derek. Alright, with introductions out of the way, might as well just skip right into the episode. Today's episode is Dragonshy. Originally written by Megan McCarthy, current head writer. Produced by Sarah Wall. Story edited by Rob Renzetti. Supervising direction by Jason Thiessen. Co-direction by James Wooten. And transcribed by Alan Back. And slightly edited by myself. Well, let's begin with the prologue.
Should we go over who has which part first?
Yeah, I guess their voices in the role. I sort of meant to do that in introductions, but if everyone would go over their parts and voices for those parts.
Okay, I believe I have the narrator, Pinky, and Spike.
I'm playing Fluttershy and Rarity.
Jennifer?
I will be playing Applejack and Rainbow Dash.
I'll be playing the second narrator, Twilight, and the dragon.
Alright. Now, if you want to make note of this voices you're doing for the voices?
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll start then. For Twilight, because she's a wizard of the group, I'm thinking of just going for the generic kind of Gandalf character. Something low, gruff, and English. For the narrator, I'm going to attempt a Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones. And for the dragon, I'm not entirely sure because he only has one line, so I'm just going to throw something out there. Just randomly.
Alright, let's just go in reverse order. Jennifer?
For AJ, I will be attempting just Applejack's normal voice. For Rainbow Dash, I will be trying to do Lady Olenna from Game of Thrones.
Cadet?
Okay, for Fluttershy, I'm going more for a Galadriel, kind of very calm voice, except for when she yells. And for Rarity, I have been forced to do Pippin because my voice range is still recovering.
Okay, so for the narrator, just thinking somewhere along the lines of wizard, somewhat. For Pinky, it was doing Gollum from Lord of the Rings, and I think that's what his name is. And Spike, I was gonna do a squire.
Alright, with all that out of the way, we might as well begin with that prequel. And starting with you again, Alex.
Alright, thank you. Fade into a large, sod-roofed cottage situated just beyond a small brook, with Fluttershy standing on the bridge that spans it. Birdhouses hang from every branch of a nearby tree, with others mounted atop a shrub and among the roof sods. Rabbits and other cute critters run free over the grounds, and a henhouse stands behind the structure. Picking up some fish in her mouth from a handy basket, she jumps into the brook. Under the bridge is a tunnel dug into the earth, with a small duck at its mouth. As she wades past, she tosses 2 more fish onto the dock, and a pair of ferrets emerge to retrieve them. Next, she flies up to a few birds nesting in a tree and spits a mouthful of worms to them. It takes her a second to clear the taste from her mouth, and she blushes before dropping to the ground. Here a small house has been set up for a rabbit angel who's chewing on a carrot. A wooden sign in this same shape hangs above the door.
Not so fast now, Angel Bunny. You wouldn't want to get a tummy ache.
His happy appetite evaporates in a flash, and he gives her an annoyed look and drops the carrot, wiping his paws to show he wants no more. Fluttershy is briefly taken aback, then laughs a bit.
You really should eat more than that, don't you think? It's not playtime yet.
Angel, with Fluttershy flying to overtake him, stops short as she lands and sets the food down.
I know you wanted to run, but just 3 more bites. 2 more bites? 1 more bite. Pretty please.
Angel's reaction to this entreaty is to kick the carrot away and hop back the way he came. Her sigh is answered by his cough.
Oh, goodness, are you okay? Are you coughing because there's a carrot stuck in your throat? Because you need some water?
Even louder cough, sounding like someone who has smoked 2 packs a day for a decade. The cute little white rabbit lifts Fluttershy's chin to aim her eyes in the direction he has been looking. A plume of thick black smoke issuing from a distant mountain peak. A gasp from the Pegasus.
Because of that giant cloud of scary black smoke?
She gets a carrot to the back of the head.
I'll take that as a yes.
Fade to black. Opening theme, Act 1. Fade into Ponyville and the leading end of the black plume above the park, where ponies are enjoying the fine weather.
Help! Help, please! Help! There's a horrible cloud of smoke. It's headed this way, and...
She completely fails to get even one pony's attention, and ducks with a cry to avoid a ball that comes flying at her. Before it can hit the ground, Rainbow Dash flashes in and starts bouncing it up off her forehead and rump.
Don't be such a scaredy pony. It's just me, future Equestria ball bouncing record holder. 246, 247.
This calls for a celebration.
Oh no, Pinkie Pie. This is no time for celebration. This is a time for panic.
Oh, I'm going to need balloons. One for every pony in Ponyville.
There's smoke, and where there's smoke, there's fire, and...
Pinkie hits the brakes with no warning, so that Fluttershy rams into her and is briefly knocked silly.
Let's see.
Pinkie points around while counting off.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
254, 255. No, wait.
Pinkie rushes into view to count her, causing the ball to miss Rainbow's head and land under her wing.
7.
Pinkie Pie, now I have to start over.
We are all going to have to start over in a new village. Because ours is going to be...
Hey, Rainbow Dash, wait up.
Oh, please, this is an emergency. I need every pony to...
Listen up.
Twilight stands on a bridge over the stream running through the park, with Spike on her back.
Smoke is spreading over all of Equestria.
That's what I've been trying to...
But don't worry. I've just received word from Princess Celestia informing me that it is not coming from a fire.
Oh, thank goodness.
It's coming from a dragon!
The mild-mannered Pegasus sucks in a gasp that would inflate a small blimp as her eyes pop.
A dragon?
Dissolved to the exterior of the library, under a sky that has darkened under the spreading smoke.
What in the name of all things cinnamon swirled is a full-grown dragon doing here in Equestria?
Twilight studies a book from a stack of rolled-up documents. She closes the book with her magic and sets it aside.
Sleeping.
Of her 5 friends, none of whom believe their ears.
Huh?
From her saddlebag standing on the floor, she magically opens one and packs a book into it as she continues.
According to Princess Celestia, he's taking a nap. It's his snoring that's what's causing all this smoke.
You should really see a doctor. That doesn't sound healthy at all.
Well, at least he's not snoring fire. What are we meant to do about it?
I'll tell you what we're meant to do. Give him the boot. Take that.
A spell from Twilight balances the stack before it can topple.
And that.
She rushes at it, but misses due to Twilight's last-second levitation. A thud erupted, and Rainbow is seen sprawled upside down against the wall.
We need to encourage him to take a nap somewhere else. Princess Celestia has given us this mission, and we must not fail. If we do, Equestria will be covered in smoke for the next 100 years.
Fluttershy on the end of this. She recoils in horror with a gasp.
Talk about getting your beauty sleep.
All right, every pony. I need you to gather supplies quickly.
The bags rise off the floor and settle on her back.
We've got a long journey ahead of us. Let's meet back here in less than an hour.
Okay, girls, you heard her. The fate of Equestria is in our hooves. Do we have what it takes?
Applejack, Pinky, and Rarity rear up and voice their own affirmative responses. As they hustle out the door, Rainbow joins them, but Fluttershy hangs back.
Actually...
White to Rainbow's cloud house. She flies to one of the rainbow ponds at its edge, from which a waterfall trickles toward the ground, and daubs a stripe of the material under each narrowed eye. Throwing a defiant growl and fierce grin, her shadow superimposing itself several times behind her. Freeze frame. Quick pan to Sweet Apple Acres, the 4 local members of the Apple family. Applejack, Apple Bloom, Big Macintosh, Granny Smith, are gathered around a pair of open saddlebags on the ground. Bloom drops in a bottle of apple juice. Granny pulls one bag closed with her teeth, and Macintosh loads them onto Applejack's back with some effort. Once the blonde pony straightens up under her weight, she rears up and leaps sideways with a yell as she freeze frames. Quick pan to Sugar Cube Corner, from which Pinky emerges wearing her own saddlebags, a pair of sunglasses, and a big goofy grin. One bag pops open, scattering uninflated balloons everywhere. She giggles for a second, then catches herself. Pinkie Pie freeze frames. Quick pan to the Carousel Boutique, and Rarity. She has put on a camouflage army helmet, with a few leaves and branches attached to improve the disguise, and carries her saddlebags in her teeth. After catching her reflection in a mirror, she drops the bags and zips back to it, disgusted.
Ugh.
She vanishes and returns in a flash with new headwear, a broad-brimmed hat, still done in camo colors, but with a long pink plume instead of the branches.
Much better. Onward.
Rarity freeze frames. Quick pan to Fluttershy's cottage, whose front door's top half is open. She nudges the bottom half open and steps out, wearing a football helmet, a baseball catcher's chest protector, an inner tube around her midsection, and floaties on all 4 legs. The top half swings shut, scaring a little whimper out of her. She freeze frame. Cut to a letterbox screen full of black smoke, with images of the 5 freeze frames dropping in from right to left to tile in the view.
Let's go.
Let's not.
Fluttershy crouches down and goes into a whimpering shiver as the 5 strips slide away and up and down. Twilight walks down the line to review the troops. They have done away with all except the saddlebags.
Alright, girls, listen up. I'm mapping out the fastest route, but we've all got to keep a good pace if we expect to make it up the mountain by nightfall.
Mountain?
The dragon is in that cave at the very top.
Looks pretty cold up there. You bet it is. The higher you go, the chillier it gets.
Good thing I brought my scarf.
A quick dig in her saddlebag brings one up, striped in 2 shades of pink.
Oh, pretty.
Oh yes, that'll keep you nice and cozy.
Fluttershy glances up at the dizzying, fume-choked summit, prompts one hard swallow from her. Twilight takes no notice, levitating a map from her bag and studying it.
Excuse me, Twilight. I know you're busy, but
Well, we could go this way.
if I could just have a second.
No, we want to avoid that.
So, I was thinking that maybe I should just stay here in Ponyville. Well, good. I'll stay here and...
Only now does the fearless leader realize what Fluttershy is talking about.
Wait! You have to come. Your way with wild animals will surely come in handy.
I don't think I...
Oh, don't worry about your little friends in the meadow. Spike's got it covered while you're gone.
You can count on me.
Angel pops up on his head and gives it a good thumping with one leg, scaring all the other critters away.
Hey, wait!
I don't really think he's up to the task. Maybe, but...
Are you sure you want Fluttershy to come along? I mean, that pony's afraid of her own shadow. She's just going to slow us down.
Oh, she's just a little nervous. Once we get going, I'm sure she'll be fine.
A yelp from the scaredy pony draws their attention as Fluttershy dives into a bush to get away from her shadow and peeks out as Rainbow gives the unicorn a told-you-so look. The other 3 supporting players are ready to go. Rarity has put her scarf away, and Pinky is blowing up a balloon.
Alright, girls.
The balloon slips out of Pinky's mouth and veers around as it deflates, finally landing on her head.
Move out.
But...
She gets caught up in the small-scale stampede and is carried screaming toward the mountain. Act 2. Fade into the mountain peak, which trembles as a low, guttural noise is heard. Imagine the world's largest ever outboard motor, scaled up by a factor of several thousand, and in desperate need of a tune-up. Smoke boils out. Cut to an overhead view of the sex. Rainbow hovering over.
Whoa, what was that?
That is what it sounds like when a dragon snores.
It's so... high.
Well, it is a mountain. I'm going to fly up there and check it out.
I think something's happened to Alex.
Alex?
Is he using Google Chrome again?
Hey, I'm using Google Chrome.
He was having trouble last time. Where it cut out 2 minutes of audio.
Ooh. This voice is so much harder to sustain than I thought it would be.
Oh no, we lost him.
Oh god.
There goes that really bad sound bite too.
The audience don't know what you're talking about.
A few minutes before the podcast, we had this. He had this really funny soundbite of people screaming.
What was that from? Because he said it was referencing something. I just don't know what.
I don't either.
It's a short video where this one guy goes into a hardware store or something, and he pushes down on a toy duck inside a basket full of toy ducks. One lets out this kind of honk, and the others, when he pushes them down, they go like, ah! Yeah, it's been going around all over the place. Silly what memes will do. Yeah.
I lost connection.
Oh.
Hello, Alex.
Hi.
Welcome back.
My internet was acting up back there, so yeah.
It happens.
It was the Dark Lord Saruman. He broke your computer.
He did.
He's trying to thwart us from reaching the end of our journey.
Curse you, Saruman!
Curse you!
Alright, well, we're left off at, I don't know if you left off at, but, I don't know when you were cut off from the audio, but it was right at, Rainbow Dash's comment about it being a mountain.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Page 7. A little under the mid.
Okay. She tries to do so on the end of this line, but Applejack's favorite grab the tail in the teeth move stops her.
Hold on now. I think we should go all up together. Safety in numbers and all. Oh, all right.
The scenery dissolves around her to a stretch of rock face.
I hear the only thing that sparkles more than a dragon's scales are the jewels they use to build their nests. Oh, if I play my cards right, I might be able to convince him to part with a few.
Welcome to my cave, Rarity. Care for a diamond?
The pink joker's jape irks Rarity for a moment until she growls, prompting a round of laughter from all but Twilight.
Girls, this is no laughing matter. Fluttershy, you're an expert in wild creatures. What do you think the dragon will be like?
Getting no response, she stops to look around, as do the other 3 land-bound travelers.
Fluttershy?
Hey,
Fluttershy peeks out behind a bush.
what are you waiting for? An invitation?
Oh, I think I have one in my bag.
She instantly comes up with one in her teeth, releasing a burst of confetti, streamers, balloons, and noise that scare the daylights out of the Pegasus and do little for Rarity's mood.
It's so steep.
Well, it is a cliff. You could just, I don't know, fly up here.
Come on, Fluttershy. You could do it. Flap those wings.
Oh, all right.
With her eyes squeezed shut, she starts flapping and is soon at eye level with the rest of the group. She then commits a variation on the classic fear of heights mistake by looking up instead of down, just in time for another of the dragon's rumbling snores. Both wings snap tight against her body out of sheer terror, and all four hooves flail against nothing before she drops back into the bushes like a yellow brick. Rainbow groans in disgust, covering her eyes on the ground. Fluttershy strains hopelessly to unfurl her wings, while Twilight and Applejack watch from up the hill.
We don't have time for this. What are you doing?
I'll need this if I'm going to take her around the mountain another way. Around the mountain?
Applejack bolts downhill.
That's going to take them forever.
Just after the Earth Pony reaches the Pegasus, another snore from the Leviathan shakes the mountain and causes the latter to go over on her back in a stiff-legged, wide-eyed faint. A goat's bleat is heard as she topples. Applejack addresses herself upward.
Don't worry, Twi. We'll be there lickety-split.
The unicorn's concern deepens as she turns her gaze to the foul black stream advancing steadily over the hills. Dissolved to a tic-tac-toe game drawn in the dirt, Rarity's nose is barely visible at the left. Across from her, Pinky leans down to draw an O in the only open square with hers, winning the game. Twilight, who paces in the distance behind the ground, is covered with other games. They are on a plateau.
Oh, I win again.
That's 35 games in a row. Best of 71?
As Twilight and Rainbow keep a lookout, they hear panting in the distance and soon see Applejack coming up around a bend. She has tied Fluttershy's tail into a loop and slung it around her forehead to drag the still-frozen Pegasus up the trail.
We made it. Told you it was going to take them forever.
Twilight has no answer for this. Wiped to an overhead shot of the group, Pinky is well ahead of Fluttershy, who still either cannot or will not move under her own power, and is being pushed by Applejack. The pink tail is no longer looped back on itself. Farther ahead of these three, Rowdy is slightly behind Twilight, while Rainbow soars over them all. The three walking leaders check the map, which Twilight magically rolls up and puts away after a moment. They stop short, finding themselves at the edge of a drop-off. Rainbow gallops up and easily leaps the gap with a little help from her wings. Twilight is next, then Rarity. But Fluttershy can only swallow hard and stare across at the others, now joined by Pinky.
Your turn, Fluttershy.
But it's so wide.
Come on, Fluttershy. We should be much further along by now.
You could just leap on over.
A fresh snore and billow of smoke cut her off. She yanks her head back and curls into a shivering little ball.
I don't know.
Both Twilight and Applejack shake their heads disappointingly, but Pinky is her usual cheery self.
There's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump.
And with one nimble bound, she is back on Fluttershy's side.
See? It's not very far. Just move your little rump. You can make it if you try with a hop, skip, and a jump.
She adds a shake of her hindquarters to make the point before leaping across.
We don't have time for this.
A hop, skip, and a jump. Just move your little rump. A hop, skip, and a jump. 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 A hop, skip, and a jump.
Fluttershy's eyes flick back and forth to follow the performance, which ends with Pinky back on the far side, and she finally smiles and stands up.
Okay, here I go. A hop,
That's it.
You got it.
Almost there. Skip.
Just don't look down.
During this line, Fluttershy opens her eyes and makes exactly that mistake. From her perspective of the empty space beneath her hooves, her vision blurs out of sheer panic as she begins to take the big dive. There is barely time for her to get out of one tiny moan before she suddenly stops dead. She already has her hooves on each edge of the gap, which is, in fact, barely more than one pony wide, while Twilight manages the best smile she can at the weak humor of the situation. Rainbow claps a hoof to her face with a groan and flies over to push Fluttershy across. Pinky and Rarity assist with a little pulling action, which ends with a thud and both Pegasi lying in a heap before the other 4 ponies.
I guess I forgot to jump.
Wipe to yet
Alright.
another.
Well, this is just about time for our first break, where we break away for a discussion.
All right.
And originally had this set for us to have a discussion of season 5, rest of it, but I feel we first should probably discuss this episode. Well, yeah, in general, discuss this episode we're talking about. So, what are your thoughts on this episode?
Dragonshy?
Yeah, Dragonshy or anything like season 1 in general, like episodes like this.
From what I remember, when I around the same time that I joined the fandom, which was about 3 years ago, the time that I saw this episode, I had such a strong feeling, just this vibe coming from, their interaction between Rainbow and Fluttershy, that I can recall having this feeling of just people you wanted to be your friends just abandoning you because of who you are. And I could relate to that so much, and I know how she was feeling, and I could actually physically feel this feeling. It was incredible.
I'm trying to remember, is this possibly Megan's first episode or not? I'm trying to remember.
I think it was.
It is pretty early in that season, so it might be.
I mean, I'll check that while everyone else is just bringing up their points.
I actually didn't join the fandom until near the season 3 finale. I think it was I want to say February when I started watching it, because my brother was talking about it for a year, and I was like, I honestly have no idea what any of this is. And I was at home after school, and it was on the TV, and I was like, when did we get this channel? And so I was like, let me watch an episode. And the first episode I had watched was Over a Barrel. And I was like, of course everything about this episode is going to be so cliche. But I thought, I found it really funny. And my sister came home and was like, why are you watching that? And I had no response. I was like, well, Andrew talks about it all the time. I mean, I can watch at least one episode to see what he's talking about. And then I started watching it regularly on this one website that I used to visit. But I watched it from the first episode all the way to the season 3 finale. And it was over the course of 2 months that I did this. But that was when that happened for me, was the whole fandom introduction thing, personally.
Alright.
Alright. And I actually did check. This is Megan McCarthy's first episode.
Nice.
pretty impressive out of the gate.
Incidentally,
Wow.
she also wrote the other big Fluttershy episode of this season, Green Isn't Your Color.
Yeah. Is that the one where Rarity? Yeah. It's got photo
It's the-
finish, right?
Yeah, it's the photo finish one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about Megan McCarthy, but I remember her from Foster's writing the Very Scary episode, and yeah, since then that's the kind of standard I hold her to. You know, all these great visual gags and freak out moments. I think she's written a lot of the Discord episodes, and they're always full of these fantastic visual puns and things.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, are we talking about first times?
We're generally like discussing Dragonshy, but like also just bringing up any points with about our thoughts in season 1, like related to it.
All right.
I think it was this episode and the one before it, Ghostbusters, that I really got feelings out of. Ghostbusters, it was just like I couldn't believe how like turned up on the scale that Trixie was. Like the way she was acting was just completely unrelentlessly. I forgot the word for it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, sure, bringing up Ghostbusters. One thing I always just found out after getting into the fandom itself is how many people hated that episode. I just don't really get it. I mean, I'm not saying it's one of the strongest of the season. I won't argue that it's probably one of the weaker ones of season 1, but that's mostly because there are so many other good episodes in season 1. But like, there's so many people like just hate that episode, Ghostbusters, and also there's a core episode, Brattle Gossip. Like those 2 episodes got so much hate, I just never understood why.
I think with Ghostbusters, it's more we've had those people in our lives that are like aggressive and very, I don't know, like standoffish, and they're very, holier than thou. And we usually take the role of Twilight where we're like, I'm not gonna be like this person. I'm not gonna, put myself above other people or embarrass other people in order to show how good I am.
I thought it was a great. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just saying that that's probably one of the reasons is because we're like, we don't like feeling that feeling because we like Twilight and we like the main 6, and it feels hard to watch them get attacked like that, I guess.
I thought it was a great Twilight character building episode. It really kind of turned me on a little bit. This shows a little bit how great Twilight's character is, how she's not wanting to, go up against Trixie with anything, not even to defend her friends. Because and this shows a little bit about the confidence that Twilight has. I mean, she knows she's smart. She knows she's powerful and that she doesn't need to boast it. And she proves it at the end of the episode as well. She relies on her own skill versus Trixie was kind of blowing smoke everywhere. It shows, I think, Twilight. It shows a lot of things. It shows like Twilight, an avenue that Twilight could have gone, but she stays kind of true to her own thing.
I quite agree. I think with more realistic animations like My Little Pony, I mean, it's very important to have characters like Trixie to show the dynamic of the human mindset. Because like Derek says, we've all had that person in our lives. So it's like you can't deny an episode like this. It just has to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Trixie came off really annoying in the beginning. I mean, but now we're seeing her. The funny thing is, I find the Trixie fan base kind of, but at the same time, I think it's because now Trixie's boasting and everything. It's just more comedic now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. They've sort of struck the right balance, I feel, now with Trixie, especially with the Equestria Girls.
Yes.
Where it's like, she's endearing in her sort of boastfulness sort of thing. But at the end of the day, especially also in the comics, it establishes that she is overall a good character. She's just boastful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She still does have the flair for the dramatic.
You know, I don't know what my first feelings of this episode were. I know I liked the episode. I guess the first time I realized I was really getting into the fandom was when I saw Winter Wrap Up. I heard that song, and the next thing I knew, I was going through to my mum's room, and I was telling her about this song and how it might be good for her parties to listen to, because she's like a children's entertainer. And we both just kind of listened to the song and discussed it. And yeah, I don't know what it was about that particular episode, but it's just the one where I kind of knew I was falling for this show.
And Winter Wrap Up is a great song anyway.
Yeah.
I'll admit, first time I watched it, I was like already, I think, 3 or 4 episodes deep into season 1, and I was out of the I can't believe I'm watching My Little Pony at my age. But then again, I got to the point where like, okay, this is good. I'm like, what, a song? And it's good, and I'm bobbing my head to it, and I almost like looked around, make sure no one was watching. But I was like, oh, this is good. This is actually quite good. And
yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was the first. I think that was the first song I ever heard. It was Winter Wrap Up. I'm like, wow, this is one of the things. Like, okay, I shouldn't write off this show. This is really good.
I know, because I don't know. You expect if there is a song, you expect it to be a little. I don't know, there to be a little less effort in it.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's lots of effort.
Yeah. It just it feels like this could have been a musical theater show all in itself.
True.
Now, if you want to see no effort, you should go watch G3.5.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the cue for the soundbite, Alex.
Oh God. Wait. Hold on.
Let's do it.
You should go watch
And the
3.5.
next 20 seconds don't have.
That's it. Thank you. Well, here's a question: are we talking about the end? Are we talking about the end of Dragonshy in this episode? To know if we're trying to keep it spoiler free.
Oh no, like spoiler free. I think we're beyond that point with this episode. Like, but yeah, like sort of going into, because the last part is actually one of the most memorable parts in like in entire season 1.
Absolutely.
Finding Fluttershy's character.
This was an episode that I actually, at one point, I found really Fluttershy was near grating on my nerves, because how scared she was. And I totally forgiving of her character now, but at the beginning I'm like, okay, this is getting annoying, and then the point where she completely goes like and just drops, and Applejack has to carry up her mouth, and her mouth. I'm like face palming at that point, and like, oh my gosh, really? This is getting really, really annoying. But then when she stands up to the dragon, that kind of like pulled me out of that, and I'm like, well, okay then. And all right, okay, Fluttershy has a backbone after all. So it was one of those, like, you think that character's going to be that's a certain way for a certain time, and then they pull a moment like that, and
yeah, and
that it really, I love those kind of moments where it actually changes, it changes your mind for a character.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
But also I feel like it's good for like setting the bar, because this is Fluttershy's first episode.
Right.
And it always sets the bar like where her character is, like, so we can actually measure her development throughout the rest of the franchise, because they constantly bring up like this episode, like she was literally afraid of her own shadow at this point. Then you look at future episodes where she's best friends with Discord.
Right.
And it's like when people say, it's like, oh yeah, she hasn't made any growth, I was like, how can you be like not it's like, how can you not notice this growth without like, you must completely ignore like everything.
Well, truthfully, I kind of didn't notice it for a while, and then when you brought up Discord, and all of a sudden I had to search my thoughts and think about, oh wait a minute, of course Discord, she's friend, she she stood up to Discord, and then she befriended Discord, and there's no fear at all, and she's willing to just offer kindness to him. That is pretty big. That's a pretty big characteristic that any pony or whatever can have. But that says a lot about Fluttershy's character too. I found it really interesting when Discord's like, "Oh, those ponies think you're weak and helpless," and she's like, I am weak and helpless."
Oh gosh, and
It's like you got trolled right back.
No, the best thing is if you freeze frame it, she gives like the ultimate. It's like the troll face. It's like I am weak, like just the biggest grin, like because I've used that frame before. And it's like I swear that was intentional.
That looks like is that the you mad bro face?
Yes, it's like that. It's like
you seem upset. I love the one where Pinky's like down on the floor, and then there's this thing like you seem upset.
Are you feeling frustrated?
Yes.
But yeah, like I said, this is a good measuring part for like her future growth and
But
also
she doesn't
sort of
get. Sorry.
No, it's good. Go on, I was like losing my train of thought.
No. Well, one thing that's good about Fluttershy is that I think this is how people can get into this thought that she doesn't change, because she goes right back to being the shy Pegasus that she is. I think that there's something like that. I mean, when it comes to being shy like that, you have to think about. I think Fluttershy resonates with a lot of people, because if you look at Fluttershy's past, she hasn't really had the best past in Cloudsdale, and which is why she can identify, I think, with the animals on the ground versus the Pegasi in the sky, pretty much. So when you've been kind of mistreated like that a lot, you're not exactly going to make big giants. You're not going to change from being an introvert to an extrovert overnight. These things have to develop, and they have to develop at that person or pony's pace. And
well, it also speaks a lot about her being so kind in the first place.
Exactly.
That would make people bitter if they were treated like that repeatedly.
Right.
I mean, actually, just going back to that point, because actually it reminded me of Mike earlier. I forgot to bring up is when people I feel like a lot of people who don't see Fluttershy's growth. I feel like a lot of the problem is that a lot of those people tend to be extroverts themselves, often on the higher end scale, and they just don't really comprehend that it's okay for someone to be an introvert.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's sort of with Flora. Yes, especially her shyness was debilitating earlier in the series, where she was afraid of her own shadow.
Right.
But you're looking at she's still shy, but it's not debilitating her as much by far.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's something that's probably not going to be completely 100% cured. It's part of her character. Heck, it's part of her name. So, but I think she's finding moments. What's really great about Fluttershy is that she's finding moments where she knows she has to be brave. She knows when to, and then when the moment's done, she can be like, okay, back to myself. But if the moment really calls for it, she can come forward when needed, and that's very respectable.
Actually, that reminds me of a sort of a point of growth example is just compare them that episode from Dragonshy where Fluttershy was just trying to get every pony's attention, and go back to the most recent episode we have in season 5 where all Ponyville was being a dream chaos and whatnot. The first one of the main 6 to actually get all the townsfolk together and listening was actually Fluttershy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just remember, this is original Fluttershy who couldn't even get her friends to listen to her back in this episode itself, and now she's the first one to actually go to the town and be like, hey everyone, we need to all work together to solve this issue.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
The growth is very subtle. It's very subtle. You have to really watch to see it. It's very subtle, and once you see it, it's like, oh, okay, she is growing after all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been rewatching some episodes since it came onto Netflix, and yeah, I recently came across the Breezy's episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I do see some growth, especially when she confronts the bees. I guess the normal Fluttershy would probably fly away from that situation, but
Oh yeah.
she gave them 2 chances and then turned on them. Which is, something she wouldn't do in the previous seasons.
Right. She reached a point where, she had to put her hoof down, and she did. She's getting a little bit better of knowing when she's got to kind of, find whatever bravery she has and then go forward, which I like.
Yeah.
Of course, nothing. But the one thing is about Fluttershy, it just seems, in my opinion, she is getting some of the funniest moments. To me, the funniest of all MLP will be and the one that completely sealed my fate in as a fan of this was the gala episode where she crashes in the gala and she utters those immoral words, "You are going to love me." And I had to actually pause the episode. I'm like, what did I just see? And then I started just laughing so hard, and I still laugh when I see that scene. But I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, she's got the potential for she's got other emotions. Instead of being sweet and coy, she can be insane.
Yeah.
Actually, and going back to that, even the earlier scene where she did the evil laughter.
Yes.
With the evil laughter with the screen going red in the background on lightning. It's I really want a fun backstory with her family at some point. We're bringing in her brother.
Yeah.
I really hope they go creative with that. And also, actually, even funnier is if you look up the alternate language dubbings of episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and they have that one. It's the Russian version of that laughter. And what they do is they take Nightmare Moon's laugh and they actually they reuse it right at that scene for Fluttershy.
Oh,
So imagine
wow.
that scene. It's freaking hilarious.
Nice.
Yeah. You ever seen there's a multilingual cut of the
Internet cut out again.
Yeah.
speaking of cuts.
Also, dinner's just got ready for me, so this is a very terrible time.
Alright, we can quick back on to the thing, quickly get through this.
Yeah.
Alright, but everyone, any final thoughts on Dragonshy, everyone? Before we kick back into actually reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Good episode.
Yes.
9 out of 10. Would watch again.
Yeah, very cute.
Great Fluttershy character building episode.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, now let's get back on. I guess, John, you're picking up the narration at wipe to yet another section of trail leading to the craggy mountain.
Right. Wipe to yet another section of the trail leading up to this craggy mountain. Let's keep it down. According to my map, we're entering an avalanche zone. The smallest peep could cause a huge rock slide. Very unsettling news for the other 5, who stop in their tracks, or above them, in Rainbow's case. Fluttershy. Sorry.
An offer?
Shh. They move ahead, taking care to put their hooves down as lightly as possible. Rainbow brushes through some leafy branches as she flies along, causing a couple of leaves to drop loose and zigzag slowly towards the ground. One of them makes the barest contact with Fluttershy's rump, but it is more than enough to set her off. Applejack silences her with a hoof over her mouth, and all glance nervously as the echo of her cry dies away. When it nearly faded out, all sigh in relief, and then the terrain begins to shake and ramble. A few pebbles clattered down from above, replaced by larger rocks fragments in very short order. Avalanche! Pandemonium! With Twilight sprinting out from beneath a falling boulder, Rarity doing a serpentine through the other slabs, and Applejack leaping across their tops, only to hit a freshly landed one face first. In midair, Rainbow uses a few of her tricks to stay ahead of the collapse. Oh no! Help! The apple farmer dives across the plough to her out of a tumbling rock's path. As the dust cloud clears, it's revealed 5 badly shaken ponies, coughing in the last of it out of their lungs. The avalanche has left a broad mass of rock and earth across the trail, almost completely blocking it.
Oh my! Every pony okay?
Thanks to you, I am. Fluttershy pokes her head out of some collapsed dirt. Pinky bounces happily in one place, in as filthy as and discomfited Rarity watches.
Ugh.
Let's do it again.
This is why a girl always packs extra accessories.
She whips her scarf out of her saddlebags and puts it on in a close-up. Then eyes gear with concern.
Oh, please tell me I brought the tiara that goes with this.
Ugh. Think we got bigger problems to make sure our hair bows match our horseshoes.
She is referring to the landslide on the trail, which has left a narrow path open along the edge. Fluttershy lets off an almost inaudible laugh. Pinky is now clean again.
Sorry.
Oh, no big whoop, Sugar Cube.
Yes, we'll just have to climb over. They begin to do so most unwillingly. Dissolved to a patch of this new and unforgiving terrain, Fluttershy slips for a moment. A wipe changes the view of the other side of the fall, where Twilight jumps down onto the trail, followed by Rainbow's swoop. The sound of Fluttershy's struggles floats down to them. Further up the way, she is trying to keep herself upright on the loose earth. One misstep sends her sliding down into Rarity, who in turn knocks over Applejack. A cloud of dust, and all three are on a pile at the bottom. Rainbow grabs one of Rarity's hooves and starts to pull her free.
My apologies.
Not your fault.
The hapless Pegasus gets out a choked little whimper as the ace flyer passes, giving her a very hairy eyeball. Cut to the group, now just short of a ledge on which the mouth of a cave can be seen. Twilight has the map open and floating in front of her, but rolls it up and stows it after a moment.
Still think it was a good idea to bring Fluttershy along?
We're about to find out. They stop before the cave mouth as smoke is pouring out. We're here. Fade to black. Act 3. Fade into the 6 at the cave mouth. Twilight thinks hard for a moment, then composes herself and turns to Rainbow, keeping her voice down until further notice. Rainbow Dash, you'll use your wings to clear the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
She goes into a crouch and takes off straight into the haze. Rarity and Pinkie Pie, you'll create a diversion to distract the dragon if it gets a little hairy in there. Pinkie zips away, leaving Rarity to gape after her. She comes up with a rubber chicken and swings it back and forth in her teeth, holding it by the head as if she were a fox raiding the henhouse. The spectacle leaves both Rarity and Twilight at a loss for words. Applejack, you're ready with the apples in case he decides to attack. During this line, cut to Applejack, who has 2 apples in her mouth. She flips them backwards overhead, and delivers 2 one-legged bucks that propel them straight towards a nearby tree. They splatter against the trunk on impact, and she throws a fierce smile at the group. But it shouldn't come to that, because Fluttershy will do what she needs to do to wake him up. And between the 2 of us, we should be able to get him to understand why he needs to go. Is every pony ready? 4 out of 5 indicate they are. The 5th is scared out of her wits and crouched almost low enough to throw a rug. Okay then, we're going in. Twilight slowly enters the cave. So, what is the best way to wake up a sleeping dragon without upsetting him? Fluttershy! A look back toward the daylight tells her that she is the only pony in the cave at the moment. She starts back out. Oh, come on! Fluttershy has gone beyond a terrified crouch to literally burying her head in the sand, or dirt, as the case may be. Twilight walks up and resumes her normal speaking volume. Come on! We have to do this! Now! Rainbow gets into the act, bumping Twilight from behind to drive her into Fluttershy again. Every second longer that dragon sleeps is another acre of Equestria that is covered in. Fluttershy's front hooves have dug her into position against all 4. Smoke! Pinky, the only one missing from this tableau, does her pony cannonball act and slams into Applejack's back, head-on view of the I can't read this word. Recalcitrant Pegasus. Oh god, that was a lot. Whew.
I can't go in the cave.
Oh, great. She's scared of caves now, too.
I'm not scared of caves. I'm scared of...
What's that, Sugar Cube?
I'm scared of...
What?
I'm scared of dragons.
The one in question sounds off again, laying off a fresh belch of smoke. Fluttershy's cry is heard from within. When the view clears, all 6 have a brief coughing fit. Fluttershy is taking cover behind Applejack. But Fluttershy, you have a wonderful talent, dealing with all kinds of animals.
Yes, because they're not dragons.
Oh, come on. We've seen you walk right up to a horrible manticore like it was nothing.
Yes, because he wasn't a dragon.
Spike is a dragon. You're not scared of him.
Yes, because he's not a huge, gigantic, terrifying, enormous, teeth-gnashing, sharp-skill-having, horn-wearing, smoke-snoring, could-eat a pony in one bite, totally all-grown-up dragon.
During this line, the ridge on which the cave is situated, and finally, the entire smoggy peak, rumbles with another snore and a blast of smoke. Back on said peak, Fluttershy has folded herself so flat that she could win any limbo contest known to man or pony. And it's shuddering mightily in front of Twilight. But, if you're so afraid of dragons, why didn't you say something before we all came up here?
I was afraid to.
All of us are scared of that dragon. I'm not. Almost all of us are scared of that dragon. But we've got a job to do. So get in there with Twilight and show her what you're made of.
I just can't.
Oh, Fluttershy. Fade to black. Fade in to the interior of the cave. Twilight has again ventured in alone. The movement express a portion of something very large, scaly and red, curled around the stactolite. I'm going in. He probably doesn't realize what he's doing. Right? At the entrance, all but Fluttershy poke their heads around the edge to voice encouragement. After they duck away again, Twilight throws a cocked eyebrow glance their way and continues on, having lost most of her bravado. Now she passes more of the red body and a sizable pile of gold coins and jewelry. Mr. Dragon. She bumps into a large protrusion and stops short, her eyes narrowing to points as they angle upward for a better look. Reveals that she has found the dragon in question, and it is a massive humdinger. Red scales covering the body, pink head, spines, and ridges all over the eyes, bat wing ears, gigantic beak-like snout, whose tip she ran into, with smoke issuing from both nostrils as it sleeps. The pile of treasure is large enough to serve as a bed. Twilight gathers her nerve and raises her voice just a bit. Excuse me, Mr. Dragon. A scratch at the area, a feral yellow-orange eye pops open, and the thing stares at her. Oh good, you're awake. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Twilight. Sparkle. And my friends and I are residents here in Equestria. The dragon's eye on the end of this line, narrow in danger. At the entrance, Pinky waves enthusiastically. The tone of Twilight's sigh and next words indicates that she has lowered her hoof. Ponyville, to be exact. We've come here to ask that you find another spot to take your nap. It's just that you seem to be doing an awful lot of snoring, and every time you do, you send a terrible cloud of smoke. It does exactly that, throwing her into a brief coughing jag. Equestria simply can't survive 100 years in a dark haze. You understand, don't you? The beast straightens up and stretches, giving itself another scratch for good measure. So you'll find another place to sleep. It flops down again and instantly zonks out with a new smoke cloud. Twilight's cough is heard within it. She emerges the entrance, and as another blow washes all over them, with predictable effects on their lungs.
So much for persuading him. Now what?
Obviously, this situation just calls for a little pony charm. Allow me, girls.
In she goes.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I couldn't possibly head back home without mentioning what handsome scales you have.
The spine standing up from the tough crimson hide as Rarity takes a closer look at a pearl necklace with a large jeweled pendant.
And those scales have to be hidden away in some silly cave for 100 years?
By the time she finishes, the bauble is wound up around her neck. The creature grunts as if mulling this over, then leans down towards Rarity, who has donned a couple of bracelets and a crown in addition to the necklace. She turns the charm on again.
Personally, I think you should skip the snoozing and be out there, showing them off. Obviously, I would be more than happy to keep an eye on your jewels while you're gone.
All the spines snap erect as the vicious teeth grind together. It has figured out her plan, and it scoops the entire horde out of reach with a snarl. Rarity's next move is to bail out of both the cave and her pilfered finery, the latter being snatched up before it can hit the ground. Wife to her, forelegs propped up on a rock outside and looking very displeased at her failure.
I was this close to getting that diamond.
You mean getting rid of that dragon?
Oh, yeah, sure.
What in tarnation?
The source turns out to be Pinkie Pie, who has put on an outfit consisting of the following: a bunch of balloons tied to her tail, swim fins all on 4 hoops, a gift box enclosing her entire body, and upper legs and tied with a polka-dotted ribbon, a 2-color balloon animal tied around her forehead, the sunglasses she wore while getting ready, and a noisemaker. Applejack and Rarity stare in total disbelief, and soon are joined by Rainbow.
Darling, you look ridiculous.
Exactly. Sharing a laugh is a surefire way to get someone on your side. Hi!
A swift pummeling is heard from within, accompanied by the sound of deflated balloons. And Pinky emerges a moment later, her getup trashed and with only one survivor on her tail.
Apparently he doesn't like laughing or sharing.
All right, that's it.
Her perspective pans from Twilight to Rarity to Pinky.
We've tried persuasion, charm, whatever it is Pinky does. It's time to stop wasting time. I'm going in.
Rainbow! No! No effect. The headstrong charger reaches the dragon in a heartbeat and stares it down.
Get out!
One powerful mid-air buck sends both rear hooves square into the beaked snout. The dragon's first reaction is to sneeze. Its second is to get good and angry.
Sorry.
Its third reaction is to let go with a roar, and that throws her all the way out of the cave, where she knocks into the four still here like bowling pins. Pinky has ditched the remains of her costume. Ponies and saddlebags tumble together everywhere. As the five get themselves vertical, they scatter before the dragon's emergence. As infuriated bellow sends smoke spewing over the five, now clutching at each other, and drives them back against the rock outcropping. When the view clears, they are lying dazed against it, and it cracks and falls apart to expose Fluttershy on the other side. She has not left the scene, but is merely hiding in the safest place she can find for the moment. She looks up from the rubble, her jaw falling open once she sees the state of her friends are in. Her attention shifts between the colossal dragon and the jumble of ponies. The blue-green eyes waver indecisively and close, and then open again as the brow draws down in steely determination.
How dare you?
How dare you!
She flies up to its level, landing on the snout and trotting up to stare at it eye to eye. As she continues, her words have cowed the beast dramatically.
Listen here, mister. Just because you're big doesn't mean you get to be a bully. You may have huge teeth and sharp scales and snort smoke and breathe fire, but you do not, I repeat, you do not hurt my friends!
On each of these last words, her furious eyes touch the dragon fearful.
You got that?
Long pause. After which the dragon cowers away from her with a little whimper. Her eyes waver.
Well?
Another long pause. Now, the fiend speaks up in a deep, reverberating voice.
But that rainbow one kicked me.
Rainbow nods and smiles hugely. Now Fluttershy returns to her usual sweet-toned voice, but still with a bit of steel in it.
And I am very sorry about that. But you're bigger than she is, and you should know better. You should also know better than to take a nap where your snoring can become a health hazard to other creatures.
But
Don't you but I me, mister. Now, what do you have to say for yourself? I said, what do you have to say for yourself?
The dragon bites to keep its composure and loses, bursting into tears. The other 5 ponies now upright again in the shower. Rarity worries about its effect on her mane, while Pinky has donned an umbrella hat and it's grinning her head off.
There. No need to cry. You're not a bad dragon. You just made a bad decision. Now pack your things. You just need to find a new place to sleep. That's all.
Cheers and congratulations from the 5. PP has put away her hat. You did it. I knew you could do it. The view is momentarily obscured by the flapping of great red wings, and all 6 watch as the dragon takes and leaves its peak. Sorry, changing sheets, right. Dissolved to a street in Ponyville proper. Several Pegasi are hard at work dispatching the sheet of all the black vapor to leave behind a normal sky. Once they finish, tend to the library.
I said...
At Twilight's bedroom loft, Angel bounds into view and climbs the bookshelves.
Come back here!
He dives after the rabbit, but only succeeds in hitting the shelves head first. Angel reaches the top and tries to grab for the ceiling, but the baby dragon snatches a hind leg and holds him down. Holding him at arm's length, Spike walks across the room as Angel tries to deck him.
How does Fluttershy put up with you furry little things?
Spike, take a letter. He is only too pleased to do so, dropping Angel and pulling out a quill and scroll.
With pleasure.
Dear Princess Celestia, I am happy to report that the dragon has parted our fair country. On the end of this, dissolve the Hern Fluttershy walking in the street, with Rainbow flying nearby. Twilight smiles at Fluttershy. And that it was my good friend Fluttershy who convinced him to go. This adventure has taught me never to lose faith in your friends. Dissolve to a flashback. Fluttershy rising up from the broken rock to face the dragon. They can be amazing sources of strength, and can help you overcome your greatest fears. Always your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle.
Twilight, you gotta come see this.
Outside one of the windows, the one with the hanging lantern, Twilight opens it and steps to the railing. The ball Rainbow was bouncing in Act 1 is at it again, and Applejack puts her head into view.
She's just 5 away from a new pony record.
Rainbow has the attention of the whole group, save for the absent Pinky, working the ball off her head.
347, 348.
A grating roar throws her off. The ball ricochets away, and she and her mane stand bolt upright.
Dragon!
She goes down, eyes wide open and all 4 hooves pointing stiffly upward just as Fluttershy did in Act 2. As before, the sound of a bleating goot is heard to accompany the freakout. The other 4 ponies have a good laugh at this as she gets up.
Why are you still laughing? That awful dragon is back!
Now Pinky makes the scene, voicing the roar just heard.
Pinkie Pie, you scared me. I mean, you broke my concentration.
It's okay, Rainbow Dash. Not every pony can be as brave as me.
Down comes a leaf from the nearest branch. Rainbow blows it aside so that it touches down on Fluttershy's rump, prompting her to keel as before. Another round of laughter, with Twilight shaking her head before smiling and joining in. Fade to black. The end.
And that is a Fimscripted reading of Dragonshy. And now...
I did not do it.
That was me.
As Bart Simpson once said, I did not do it.
Perfect, though. Perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
Boy.
I think we have too much fun before the recording.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that brings me to the subject, since we were actually talking about character development before. What are any like general predictions? Because we are in previous videos discussed season 5 predictions. We can touch more on if you have any more new ideas. But what are some ideas you have for the already confirmed season 6, which appears to be already being recorded?
Anyone?
I have no idea.
Ideas how things will change, like how you believe things will change.
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I would guess if the Cutie Mark Crusaders were to get the Cutie Marks in this season, that it would all be about them developing their talents and, you know, maybe soul episodes dedicated to each one of them progressing little by little. I think, you know, maybe I've said this before. I think Sweetie Belle might find it tough to actually develop her talent in Ponyville. I mean, we've seen in the past that you know, lots of ponies sing, and maybe theater isn't really that appreciated. Even Octavia kind of takes her talents to Canterlot every now and then. So I'm thinking, where exactly does a talent like Sweetie Belle's fit in this town? Will she have to go far away, like Manhattan or something, to, you know, to reach her goals? Will there be a teacher for her? I don't know.
I think that would be like if Sweetie Belle would just realize that singing is her actual talent, because we've seen her try to do other things and not really exactly excelling at them. It's like it's a talent that she knows she has, but she doesn't really want to acknowledge that she has that talent. I think she needs to acknowledge it, like, okay, I can sing. This is my path to getting a cutie mark.
I guess it's maybe just more than singing. It's also, she definitely has a flair for songwriting as well. It's just, I guess I've just wondered, you know, where exactly her talent fits in when the whole of Ponyville sings at the drop of a hat, you know?
Hello, my internet cut out again.
I noticed.
Hello.
Why were there two of you on my screen at some point?
Lagging out.
Oh.
In some way. Yeah, I missed everything from when Ninja said touching up on the subject of, and it cuts out right there. So
we were talking about character development, and I went into sort of a rant about Sweetie Belle.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think the main thing we already covered was John talking about how he believes like one potential is CMC might have their cutie marks by then, and the future will be developing their talents within their cutie mark area, and Sweetie Belle possibly going outside Ponyville.
What the Crusaders could definitely do is they could also maybe help others get their cutie marks as well.
Yeah, maybe.
That actually brings me to one idea I've heard like in a post that have any of you seen like the little like partial season 5 like photo? You know, they always do like a photo for each season which has like new villains and characters and whatnot.
You mean the blacked out thing?
Yeah, the blacked out one.
Yeah.
In one video that was discussing that, they brought up the idea that what happens that the CMC do get their cutie mark at the end of the season, but they actually focus on helping other like cutie markless ponies get their cutie marks. That becomes what their new objective so they're still part of the CMC, but they're helping other ponies try to get their cutie marks instead, sort of thing.
Yeah, I can kind of imagine that. Like maybe Naya help the new generation of school children.
I mean, the idea I've heard with that is Flourish. This is also like the idea this was associated with was if one of the ones that was they were helping was Fluttershy's brother.
Yeah.
It was a younger brother.
All right. Ooh, love interest.
Oh, let the ship sail.
Mm-hmm.
I think one random thing that I was thinking about was the fact that maybe in one of the future seasons they sort of work the angle of you can be friends at a distance, like you'll always be friends.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even if you have to say goodbye now, you'll still be friends through time. Because they started to hint at that with the Moondancer episode.
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
I was like, oh my gosh, please tell me
Yeah.
this is not where the whole season is gonna go, because I'm gonna cry.
Oh, man.
Right.
That I would totally, I would just be like, no, I can't watch the rest of this. But that was something that like dawned on me when I watched the Moondancer episode. I was like, I don't know, because they brought it up with, the fact that all of the background characters it was like the Unicorn Six is what I called it, because there's literally them, and I was like, huh, I hope that's not where the rest of it's going.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one potential idea behind the upcoming Rarity episode, is that one thing she has to might have to give up is time with her friends if she opens a Canterlot boutique.
Hmm.
Hey guys, sorry to cut out short, but dinner's waiting for me, so yeah.
No, totally understandable, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go, guys.
Alright, see ya.
See
Bye-bye.
ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Alright, also I might as well bring up, since we're still on rumors, like one toy rumor that I had was interesting, like toy rumor that leaked a while ago with misspellings and all, was a few upcoming toy lines that are reserved on Amazon are Princess Applejack, Princess Cheerly, Princess Fluttershy, and Princess Luna.
All right. Who let Emma Larson out in the toy shop? Who did?
Wait, list the princess characters again. I heard Applejack and Cheerly, and then I didn't hear anything after that.
Then Fluttershy and Luna.
So what? Are these just misprints?
Oh, I mean, they're partially misspelled. I think Fluttershy is the one, it's like 2 R's. But they are official, like, requests for, like, spots by Hasbro, someone on Amazon. Now, these could just be an off toy line where it's just individual toy line or whatever, or it could just be a temporary thing that's within a finale. But this, since it's not even like, the reason I think it would be involved potentially with season 6 and not into season 5, even if it is not or not, whatever, is just because since there's no image or any like pre-toys out already, I have a doubt it involves anything with season 5. Just because Hasbro, like, they had their like season 5, which is Cutie Mark Magic stuff. They had that announced way back, and like they had toy models back in like February time.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's not involved with season 5, but potentially involved with season 6, just so it's like they have it in development, but they don't have like the models out and whatnot. And I'm saying that's if it is involved, like it could just be a one-off toy line, what have you. But I'm saying if it is involved, I have a feeling it would be season 6 and not 5 because of that.
I don't know. Everything seems to be canon when it comes to the toy line or the cards or anything.
It's not everything.
Hasbro's been for the past 20 years.
The thing is, like, I hate to say, like, because some people say, oh, it's just a toy line, doesn't mean anything, while others people say, well, it's a toy line, they give up, they say, oh, it's going to happen at some point. I feel it's really a balance of both, because the toy line really does make things just by itself. Like, there's never going to be a one where Pinkie Pie has, like, a train. I forget, there's a few, or she has, like, a car or something like that. It's like Pinkie Pie. That's not going to influence, like, the show itself.
Pinkie Pie has a car?
It's one of the toy side things.
You're kidding.
One thing I've done with my part-time job, like, is helping right now is stocking, and one of it is the toy department. I haven't realized how diverse the MLP is and like covering all different age groups and like toy items.
I see.
But yeah, I mean, that's just one potential thought. No, that's just like I said. Where I was going with this is sometimes toy lines do influence stuff. Example, I think the biggest example is we knew about Princess Twilight well in advance of it actually happening.
Yeah, it's the same with the Rainbow Power stuff. I think that got
In
kind
the
of
castle.
leaked.
Yeah, the castle. And then there's also the friendship games like Nightmare Twilight, which it was one of the most open reveals because of the one person talking about the toys itself was like, oh yeah, this is going to happen.
Did you say Nightmare Twilight?
Yeah, like Nightmare Moon, but like Nightmare alternate Twilight.
They call her Midnight Twilight, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Her toy is out, and it's like I think I swear I brought this up when we were talking about friendship games.
I don't remember that.
Must have been in my own videos, I guess, but yeah, it's like a toy line that was revealed, and it's like I say, this one I strongly support that it's probably going to happen, just because when the person was, when she was discussing all the toys, she heavily went over that plot point, like, and it's a very rehearsed thing, so it's like there's like a 99% chance that's going to happen. At least I'm just saying in my mind, it's like that's very likely of a thing on the toy side, while other things like I was bringing up, like Pinkie Pie's car and stuff like that, that's not influencing. So it's like I say, it's a balance you just have to filter through.
Alright, so I think I found it. Is it Midnight Sparkle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Midnight Sparkle.
Doesn't really look like Twilight.
It's like an alter ego.
It's supposed to be sci-fi, pretty much.
I guess.
And also remember a conversion, because remember like Nightmare Moon versus Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to that, let's just hypothetically say these things are part of season 6. What do you think would be the cause of this?
I think that if there is a Nightmare Moon thing of Twilight, my thing would be like, I think she's going to come across some dark magic, and it's kind of be another test of her, I guess, princessdom or something. It'll be another test of like how she uses her powers and such. Now that she's an alicorn, I think she's going to come across some dark magic, and she's going to, I guess, be infected by it at some point. And
I just want to point out, like, for the Midnight Sparkle, that is actually seems to be like 100% sci-fi. I mean, sci-twi.
Uh-huh.
It's for like that's for Equestria girls.
Right.
But like I think in the vein of that, where she's studying, like the idea is basically apply that to sci-twi, and I think that's what's going to happen, where she's inspecting the magic side.
Mm.
And I think even my video recently said I think she's going to be expecting it. Then she's going to be like, I have everything under control. Like every time before everything goes wrong with Twilight sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets in over her head, probably having some friendship breakdown right beforehand. And that's what converts her.
Well, yeah. Tying into that, this will probably be Sunset Shimmer's true, like, I don't know, like, if she has an element, she's probably going to find it in this movie.
Mm.
Because in the prior movie, we saw her transform because of the, like, redemption that she felt by being forgiven by the main 6. That might be tied in somehow with the fact that the other 6 are going to be helping other people learn their elements. That's just what I was thinking listening to that, because I'm like, there's got to be something where it ties Sunset Shimmer, because at this point she looks like she's going to be the protagonist of this movie. Like, it's going to be mainly about Sunset Shimmer.
All right. You know. And then, you have something to say, John? Or
do I have something to say?
I thought I heard like your voice on the mic, like starting to speak up. I'm sorry. This like just right. So we got that Midnight Sparkle, but what about the 4 potentially new? Well, 1 continuing princess. If that is I don't know yet if it's going to happen, if it's a toy line or whatnot. But if that is actually a toy leak, and I say when the models come out, we'll know more. If that is happen, what do you think would be the cause of that?
Well, possibly. Possibly in the season 5 end episodes. I don't know if they go down the route that Starlight Glimmer goes back in time, stops a rain boom from happening. Maybe there is a chance that some of the magic from the Tree of Harmony kind of transfers it into the other ponies. So, maybe they all in turn become princesses, and Starlight Glimmer just keeps going back in time to try and alter her mistakes. So it's sort of like one after the other until we finally get back to Twilight. I don't know. Maybe even Sunset Shimmer will appear. Say like, you weren't meant to, be in this timeline. You were meant to be a princess.
The one idea I potentially had, which goes with my ideas of how season 5's ending could go down, is if it goes off like Flashpoint, which I don't think any of you read DC Comics too much.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've heard of it.
But basically what happened is the Flash was fighting the Reverse Flash, and have any of you also seen the Flash TV show?
I've seen a little bit of it.
Alright, so I was just saying, if you know the ending actually sort of goes in if it would have gone the dark route sort of thing. But basically, the Reverse Flash tricks the Flash to go back in time and to stop his mother's death. But that has like rippling effects and everything in a timeline change. And like how it's basically described how Reverse Flash described as like, go back, break the sound barrier, you create a sonic boom. Break the time barrier, you get a time boom. And so even things that weren't directly connected, through the butterfly effect thing, were like altered. I think I said the big reference for this is Bruce Wayne is shot and not his parents.
Oh yeah. And then Thomas Wayne becomes Batman in this case.
Yeah, and Martha Wayne becomes a Joker.
Right. What?
Yeah, that happens.
Oh. Nobody said a darn thing about Martha Wayne becoming the Joker. Whoa, I need to read Flashpoint.
Or you could just watch the movie. Like, it's not shown directly in the movie that she becomes a Joker, but it's strongly hinted at in one scene.
All but spoken.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, like, the idea is basically that he goes into inter-alternate timeline. But at the end of the movie, in a comic series, the movie simplifies it from what I understand. They go back, he stops himself from altering history, so, like, his mother still dies. But even though they did that, there's still some like repercussions. So like even though they fix the timeline, there's some alternate repercussions. Whether status. That's basically what the justification for the DC's reboot of New 52.
Oh yeah.
Is like that some of the changes. So I'm thinking if something like that happens at the end of season 5, this could be the justification for like new princesses being born, well, like taking filling roles and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know this could also go with I know there's like the Solar Flare, something like that. It's like evil Celestia.
Oh, that would be interesting to see.
Because there is like I forget. I think it was a card. It was on one of the cards. It was like evil Celestia.
Right.
And if you remember, like this toy list, Luna. So what happens if basically it was reversed, where Celestia went evil and not Luna? Through a time boom, but again, this is this speculation of like if this would be a toy line that actually does influence a series. I say that we can really tell more usually when there's promotional work coming out, because usually if it's a higher end supported stuff, that's most likely to be canon within the show compared to like one-off toy lines.
Yeah.
But since we have nothing, we can't judge. But there is another thing I would like to discuss in terms of speculation for season 5 is Daniel Ingram talking about like he has recording some big things. So what do you think about for season 6 and beyond how the music will be?
Well, I've kind of heard that he had an interest in re-recording all of his songs, but done with a live symphony orchestra. So
Ooh.
that might possibly be what it is, or yeah, maybe it's for the 2017 movie, or I don't know.
I welcome it with everything. All I know is I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, music's going to be great no matter what.
Yes, agreed.
Alright, I guess if we can have more speculation, but like one final point I wanted to discuss is, when do you think we actually will get season 6?
Wow.
I honestly think it's gonna be somewhere around next, probably November. In all honesty, they're gonna.
I'm going to go with that too.
Yeah, they're gonna push this one because they already cut it in half to get the movie, so
Well,
that they
I'm
can
thinking
continue the rest of it, and they gave it more time and more thought with the way that they structured the episodes. Like they weren't rushed this season, so.
Right.
The big reason, though, I think it might not be November, but at least slightly earlier, though, is because they already said they were recording their lines already. Which makes me think that potentially might start in, like, August, maybe? August or
Well,
September.
when you do animation, if you're doing an actual from start to finish animation, you record the lines way ahead of advance.
Oh, no, it's like, it had advanced, but it's usually, like, within a year with the show. It's like they do the animatic and record the lines usually, like, about 6 to 8 months out before the episode, or at least they release it. But it's usually
That
within a
depends
year.
on their schedule too.
But I said usually
They
within
can
like
finish the entire series before they even do anything. Because who was it? Oh gosh, I think it was Adventure Time where they said that they do like 8 episodes and then start pumping those out and then record the next 8 and then pump those out as it goes.
Yeah, actually, I do think
I think that was who said that.
I think that I don't think they've ever confirmed that with MLP, but I strongly believe that, just because if you listen to voices like very specifically, you can often pick out a point where like a certain character's voice alters ever so slightly, and it might just be because they're came in a different recording day and whatnot. And like usually you can tell like it happens like that point where the voice changes slightly, and then it continues for like the rest of the season or something like that. So I could very well see them like recording like 8 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
And or just something like that. But in general, I was just gonna get to is like usually when they're to the point of recording the lines, it's about a year out from when they're releasing the episode. And like this is like it was announced they're recording for season 6. I think that was actually officially announced at Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was already a few months, like 2 months back. So.
But for this past season, when did they start recording?
I think the earliest report we had them recording was like not Daniel Ingram's, John Delancey. It was like May or something. It was like May of it was like the May of the previous year sort of thing.
So even then, the thing of it is though, is they've got NDAs that they have to worry about.
Oh no, but it was like this is the one where he leaked like he did this is the one where he said like, oh, I did an episode where Discord gets jealous. And which obviously led to the one what about Discord episode?
What was it? Keep friends, but keep Discord?
Yeah. Because he was like saying like he had fun time recording, like it was like, oh, there's a time when Discord gets jealous. He was just talking to like a fan at a convention. I think that was May or April of like the preceding May or April.
Mm-hmm.
So it still falls within like about a year.
When did that episode air? Was that June? July?
It was like
I think it was July because I was out in Illinois.
I think it was May, because I think they started out in April because I know it started out with like Game of Thrones. But then I think it went on like they had a few breaks. I think it went into May.
I think there was a break before this episode, so it might have been something like April, May.
It was like I'm pretty sure it wasn't April because of 4 episodes, like even 2 episodes. It was like episode 7, so I think it was like late May, early June sort of thing.
Okay.
So about a year out. which falls in. So I'm thinking they might at the very least start it up sooner than like November. Like well, that's what I'm just trying to get to.
That also depends if they like when are they supposed to be starting this Equestria Girls TV show thing?
Yeah, that's
too?
the one thing we don't know anything about because that one they are keeping a tight lid on.
Because that could interfere with that season.
Well, I was thinking what they'll try to do with that show if they do, because I brought this up in my own video discussing it. I think if they do that, they'll just basically have to try them. They're complementing each other. Say, Equestria Girls TV show comes on in spring of next year, while this comes on in fall. So there's like avoiding the 2-month summer gap. Because it's
I
like
think it would be the reverse though, personally, because I don't know, the whole high school angle would probably fit better when, I don't know, because I don't know, I don't really know. I'm not like a marketer.
I was just saying because
I'm just like I'm just speculating personally.
I was just saying I think that could come out before, and just because like they already seem to have concept art out, and like there was part of their official like business pitch they did recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that's a little bit more developed than just recording voices.
There was another video for Friendship Games just after our last episode. It was a banner day. It was like a Flash Sentry with 2 other characters making a banner for the school. No one remember?
Was that in the in that short where Rainbow Dash has that marching band with her?
No, that was after it.
Okay.
A couple of days later, they released this one where, Principal Luna comes in and she's setting Flash, the Eco Kid, and someone else a task of making a banner for the school. I'm guessing no one saw it.
I didn't see that one.
Oh well.
Forward me the link.
It was kind of fun. You got a little bit of character development from Flash, but not very much. He's still just
That's
like
something
music.
I'm looking forward to. At least just a little bit. Because, I mean, he's literally the only male that we've really seen in the human version of their world. And it's like, man, really? We need more characters just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Just total. We need more characters total.
Yeah. Well, in this short, there's 3 men.
Oh, you're talking about the one with the Flash Sentry and whatnot?
Yes.
He said that twice.
I did.
I just walked out for a second.
Great time. Oh.
But let's see. But yeah, I guess that covers a lot of the general ideas I was trying to go. Like, any other thoughts about where the season will go? Like, where the franchise will go?
Well. Anyone?
Other than the points I've brought up earlier, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, really.
Yeah. I guess I would, as much as it would be painful, the 2017 movie would hopefully be maybe the end of it, if you know what I mean, because I know some other series like SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents who just kept plowing in movie after movie and they all became completely irrelevant. So I don't want that to happen with MLP. If it's going to have an ending, let it be the movie.
I was thinking like at first I thought the movie would probably potentially be the end. I just noticed that Jennifer is gone, but I'm not exactly sure now anymore. Just because, like I said, this is big business for Hasbro.
Yeah, I guess.
But I think there is going to be at least some sort of pivotal change after the movie.
Probably. Yeah.
say they move on to another generation. I mean, actual generation, like say the CMC generation or something like that.
Yeah,
like
maybe
they're
they get
grown up.
older.
Yeah.
I can see that happening as a way to push the series forward.
Yeah.
With the writers that they have, it'll turn out good. I mean,
Maybe that's it. You know, the
it'll
movie-
have new angles that they can go at, considering that with the CMC we would get people that have just now gotten their cutie marks, whereas the main 6 already had them and just learned how to better themselves from them.
maybe that is it. Maybe we're gonna get like a Digimon jump. You know, like season to season, they're like 4 or 5 years older.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of talking about. And in general, I think Hasbro wants to get comfortable enough where they could potentially jump into different generations, but still keep the flavor of this generation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, my internet went out and I missed everything. What'd I miss?
When did it go out for you?
It went out, I think for a couple of minutes. Oh gosh, I can't remember when it went out. What were you guys talking about?
I noticed that like you were gone right around when I was talking about. I don't think like the movie. I used to think that the movie meant that basically it was going to be the end of the MLP.
Right.
G4. But after like looking through it and how successful it is, I don't think it's going to be the end of G4 anymore, but just like a transition of some sort.
Right.
Or just like it's going to mark like the movie's not necessarily going to like mark the end of a transition, but like it's going to be like a big pivot point where after that they are like, okay, now we need to move.
I guess I gotta think of it like this. This series isn't Fairly Odd Parents. It's not SpongeBob.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're not just gonna throw something random.
They're not gonna jump the shark, as it were.
Yeah. It's like they're not just gonna continue on, and what we saw in the movie is gonna be completely irrelevant eventually.
Right.
But again, I do believe I don't think it's going to end anymore just because Hasbro is making so much money that they're like try to continue on forever. Like at least this flavor. I think they'll try to transition though, just because get new different toy models and whatnot out.
True.
But I do think we'll have some sort of pivot point also just because they seem to really be building up this movie of it's going to be big, and not just like the level of Equestria Girls, but they actually really are going like investing more money and resources that this is going to be a big project for them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because they're doing a TV premiere for it.
No, we're the actual MLP movie, not the Equestria Girls 3.
Okay. I hope they don't do a TV movie for that either.
Right.
Please don't go CGI.
Oh god. No.
Now we need that sound effect.
That actually was the one. I'll be honest. That is the one thing that sort of scared me. The one thing I do have hope though is just because like what concept art they do have, which is not really concept art. It's just like the title of the movie. It does incorporate a lot of like the background, like 2D animation aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives me some hope that they actually aren't going 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we have to worry about what they look like in CGI because there have been enough bronies in this fandom that are technically inept enough that they've actually done it.
You mean the SFMs?
Yeah, the SFMs.
They're good, but I just still prefer the aesthetics of 2D animation, which is pretty much dying out in the West.
Yeah. Everything's starting to be done with Flash now.
I mean, Flash 2D animation, I don't like. One thing is, like, I like to differentiate 2D animation that's from traditional hand-drawn and just, like, 2D animation, like, computer-assisted, which is pretty much how everything's done now that's 2D.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because it's still sort of, like, drawing, like, the object, but it's getting rid of a lot of the middle work of, like, animating it. It's making it more, like, automatic. It's like, okay, we want the character to walk this way, we'll say this format. So even though I could say even it's not Flash-based, it's like Flash-ish where it has pre-programmed like movement sort of things.
Right.
So it's, again, that just helps speed up efficiency and whatnot.
Right.
But those can still derp though.
Yeah.
It's all based on mathematical algorithms.
But I forget, I was going to this idea of like, I just prefer, like, I miss 2D how it's basically being driven out in the West. And actually one thing that sort of made me die a little, which it was like a news post that like was like excited, like, oh, this is happening. Is like I don't what this is makes me sad a little. But it was like
Right.
Miyazaki is directing like a CGI animated short.
What? What
It's just like
Miyazaki is?
Yeah, it's like a short, so it's probably like a 5-minute animation thing.
Okay.
But like even with that, I was like, it's like no.
I would have thought that's shocking to hear. I would have thought that that at bare minimum, even Miyazaki would not be, for this. But then again, if he is, then this must be some kind of project to garner his attention.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Miyazaki himself is like he's saying that he doesn't care for a lot of anime now because they're all made by it seems a lot of them these days are made by fans.
Yeah, Miyazaki is an interesting person where it's like, I like to say he's sort of like Tom Cruise in that he's very talented at what he does, but his actual like political views and whatnot are sort of crazy.
True.
If you actually do follow like Miyazaki, like some of the things like he considers like I think the thing he said about the iPad was like it's like finger masturbating or something like that.
What?
Yes, it's like this weird quote. It's like he means it's like I was like I really like what you've done for anime, Miyazaki, but
Yeah.
you're sort of like going senile in real world.
Wow. Finger. Okay. Thanks a lot. Now I'm never gonna look at an iPad the same way again. Thanks
But
a
it's
lot.
like he said some weird obscene thing. Like it's not. I think, but it's in that same vein because like he hates how like when he gets on a subway now he sees like everyone's on their iPads.
Yeah. True.
And like he hates because remember like I think about what's the biggest stack for most of Miyazaki's star features is basically sort of like set back 40 years ago in like rural areas.
Right.
I like to say it's like not like post like 10 years post like war Japan where everything's rebuilt but everything's still sort of old and engine driven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the period that he grew up in.
Yeah, that's like his childhood. So when he tries to write like childhood pieces, like it's in that era, are heavily influenced by it. Like Studio the Ghibli itself is actually like based off like a Italian plane manufacturer. I mean, that's where I actually got the name for Ghibli. I remember hearing that because I was looking back for the one Pig movie, where it's like the pig pilot.
Porco Rosso?
Yeah, Porco Rosso. Because I think they even reference like the actual Ghibli like engine or something like that.
That was one movie I just did not understand. Yeah. Like Porco Rosso. I guess I'm sometimes I'm not quite used to the Studio Ghibli movies. They just don't seem to have endings, if you know what I mean. They just kind of continue on. Like as if they're meant to have sequels.
Well, Howl's Moving Castle is a pretty good. It has a complete ending.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. But
yeah,
just ones like My Neighbor Totoro or even Porco Rosso.
Right.
I think I know. I think you're talking about. I know what you mean, like the more open-ended ones.
Yeah.
That just like sort of like everything continues on, and like they don't. Like for example, they still have Porco Rosso like still being cursed to be a pig, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sort of establishing what caused it and whatnot.
Mhm. Yeah.
Miyazaki still amazing. And Studio Ghibli stuff still amazing to look at.
No, like I said, for Tom, like I said, it's a sort of Tom Cruise thing. I feel for him, where like, he's like sort of crazy in real life, but they're very talented at what they do.
Right. Hey,
Like
I'm not gonna be, and you know what? I'm not gonna begrudge him for his opinions and everything. And there's some cases where I almost feel the same way, and this may be the age setting in where sometimes I will look at a lot of people on their phones. I'm like, oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, I know.
And also, remember Disney was supposedly, I recall, crazy as well. So
right,
seems to run into fan. Actually, I recall like the Disney brothers were very, very crazy.
Hell, there has officially never been a public picture taken of Akira Toriyama. As far as I know. Yeah, he's actually forgotten characters existed in his own universe.
Wow.
All right, well, went off tangent, I guess. But originally. Let's see.
Back to ponies.
Oh yeah, back to ponies from CGI. Now I'm trying to remember back. So, any final thoughts on where you think the season will go, and just a general, series will go, like in season 6 and beyond?
Oh wow. I almost never have predictions anymore because I am well open to be blown away by what they're going to come up with next.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we'll see more if we're going to see more milestone episodes. What like the episode 100? What are they going to do for the next milestone if they keep on celebrating episode milestones? Like, say if we reached,
I guess 150 would probably be the
episode,
next one I'm thinking of.
well, what if we reached episode 200 or whatever? What are they going to do for
Yeah,
that?
200 would definitely get something, but I think the next one would probably be 150.
That is possible.
I don't think it'll probably get the same, like, distinction as, like, episode 100, like, now was so obviously for fans.
Yeah.
But I think it will get a little special nod in 150.
Yeah, but I have to wonder what kind of milestones can they do, or if they want to do.
Who knows? Maybe episode 200 will be an anime episode.
Oh my gosh. They'll get Miyazaki in on it. They'll get Miyazaki in on it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, every season seems to have an overall arc, overall theme.
Mm-hmm.
This one,
Go ahead, sorry.
This one seems to be kind of breaking down barriers between all the borders and, people of Equestria. So maybe the next one will focus on more internal stories, Maybe we'll finally get to find out what happens with Applejack's parents. Maybe Scootaloo's parents will come up.
Right. Maybe we'll see more Pegasi families.
Oh, we are supposedly getting Fluttershy's brother later this season.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But what about...
Interesting.
And we have seen Rainbow Dash's dad at one point we did. But I'm wondering if we'll see full Pegasi families.
Yeah, I think it was like one of those ongoing jokes. You think that the show staff would actually just address in a very simple way. It's like something they could have easily addressed, but it's sort of like left open.
I think they purposely leave that just so we can speculate and keep on doing it until then. It's like, and then they can do something which completely blows everybody's cannons out of the water, and then everybody gets upset.
That's what I was saying. I got what I was going with Fluttershy's brother. I don't know where they're going. I just hope they go creative with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because after all this build up.
With the Pegasus, I still kind of believe in the flying the coop sort of theory.
Right.
Like they reach a certain age and they just don't speak to them anymore, or something like that. Basically like birds.
Well, son, you've grown your wings and you've proven you can fly, so now it's time to go away.
Yeah.
Don't come back!
Mm-hmm.
Well, Parasite families would really suck if they did that.
And then what about Scootaloo?
Yeah!
That was hard.
I shudder to think, if that's the case, then what has been done with poor Scootaloo?
Who knows?
I just hope they don't like the whole fanon thing about she's an orphan, her parents are dead, her whole thing is not true.
If anything, I think it's maybe she was a weak flyer, so they had to put her down on the ground to learn from a school in Ponyville.
Right.
And she's probably staying with a different family while her parents are up in the clouds.
Could be. Or maybe they come down every few days like, okay, Scootaloo, have your wings grown yet?
Yeah, exactly.
No? Bye. That'd be terrible. I love how they left it. They could have gone two different ways with it. They could have make her magically cure her I guess small wings, or they're like, no, you're gonna stay the way you are. But they left it like when Rainbow Dash said, like, maybe your wings will grow, maybe they won't. So I think it's a very safe kind of route. So it still allows for hope, but I still want that little Pegasi to fly. I really do.
That was also due to the whole message of the episode, is to be able to accept yourself for how you are now.
Yeah,
not
that
for
is
what
true.
you can be or what you should be.
Right,
So,
right. I know. It would still be just nice to see. I love seeing the kind of some of the best fan art I see is I love it when Rainbow Dash is like propelling Scootaloo in the air and she's flying and she's carrying Scootaloo with her, which is always so cute and heartwarming to see. And hey, she got a chance to fly in a dream, so that's cool.
I had a little animation idea the other day. Well, I was listening to the How to Train Your Dragon soundtrack, and one particular song that came to mind was Test Drive. The one where
right,
he's flying around and he loses control of Toothless for the first time.
Oh yeah.
And then he finally recovers. I guess I
love that movie.
Yeah, I guess I kind of thought it'd be cute if something like that happened with Scootaloo. Maybe she invents a machine that kind of makes her, just basically like she expands her wings with metal wings so she can make herself fly while she's riding around in this jet-propelled scooter. And then suddenly maybe one of the wings kind of fall off and she starts plummeting and no one's able to help her, and suddenly her wings just take her off the ground,
Wow.
Yeah, keep her aloft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's in her name too, the fact that she won't.
Yeah, the fact that Scoot's in her name, so.
Yeah. But who knows? She might, like I say, try and modify the scooter somehow.
Or she could get a jetpack. Jetpack powered Scootaloo.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, we got the doctor now,
True.
Oh, Celestia, I saw you turn to an alicorn.
What?
Oh.
Who did it? The Scootacorn.
Yeah.
The
Scootacorn. Oh my
At the very least, make the wings bigger. She's like, hello.
True.
Yeah.
They gave her like Pontiac Trans Am wings in the dream, which I thought was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, like she's got really giant wings.
Right.
That'd be funny if Twilight put a spell on her and she had like dragon wings.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. It would be funny if she kept those wings in the dream and now she's like, I've got wings! I can't lift my body with them. I can't make these things work.
Yeah.
And then she could train with both biceps in order to build up her muscles so she can make them work.
Oh yeah. Be like Dumbo.
Oh yeah, good analogy. But I be done seeing about everything when I see Scootaloo fly.
Alright, with that said, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I thought those were the final thoughts.
Just final goodbyes and whatnot.
Alright, I'll let someone else go first. I'm tongue-tied.
Just looking forward to where it goes from here. I've enjoyed the ride so far.
Me too.
Same here. I can't wait for Saturday.
Yes.
Poniatus is almost over. With that said, this is NC signing out with
Take care,
everyone else.
guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Woohoo!